Listen, we need to talk about what went down at the 2025 Grammys because honestly, what in the actual hell? If you haven't seen it yet, though, let's be real, it's everywhere. Kanye West and his wife Bianca Censori showed up to an event they weren't even invited to. And girl, let me tell you, it was a whole situation. Now, I'm all for pushing fashion boundaries and living your best life, but when Bianca dropped that fur coat on the red carpet, revealing basically everything God gave her through a see-through mesh dress, I even had to pick my jaw up off the floor. And trust me, I'm not usually one to clutch my pearls. Here's the thing though, this isn't just about a revealing outfit or another Kanye West publicity stunt. There's so much more happening beneath the surface, and everyone's got an opinion about what's really going on. Is this some weird power play? Is it a dig at Kim K? Is Bianca being controlled? Or is she fully on board with all of this? The internet is losing its mind trying to figure it out, and honestly, I get it. When you got a woman who used to be this successful architect, rocking business casual like it was nobody's business, suddenly showing up basically naked to the Grammys with her husband, looking like he's headed to a completely different event in his all-black everyday, where people are going to have questions. But before we all jump on the Save Bianca bandwagon, or start writing this off as just another celebrity mess, we need to really look at what's happening here. Because whether you think this is a straight-up humiliation ritual, yeah, that's a thing, and we're going to get into it. A case of a woman living her best life on her own terms, or something way more complicated. This situation is serving us some serious tea about celebrity culture, relationships, and what happens when private choices become very public spectacles. And let me tell you, as someone who's seen their fair share of celebrity drama, this one's hitting different. It's not just about the shock value anymore. It's about what this whole situation says about power, control, and how we react when someone steps way outside what society considers acceptable behavior. So grab your drink of choice, get comfortable, and let's dive into this mess together. Because whether you're Team Free Bianca or Team Let Her Live, there's a lot to unpack here. And trust me, it's going to get interesting. We're going to look at all the angles, spill all the tea, and maybe even learn something about why we're all so invested in this whole situation in the first place. And hey, if nothing else, at least we can all agree on one thing. 2025 is already giving 2024 a run for its money in the drama department. Okay, let's talk about this whole humiliation ritual thing because it's wild, but hear me out. If you're scratching your head like, what in the world is a humiliation ritual? Girl. Same, until I started diving deep into this mess. Basically, it's when someone, usually someone famous, does something that's straight up degrading or embarrassing. Either because they're being forced to, or because there's some bigger game being played. Think about it like this. Remember when NBA YoungBoy painted his face like a clown? Or when certain celebrities suddenly start doing things that seem completely out of character. That's the kind of vibe we're talking about. Now, with Kanye and Bianca at the Grammys, this wasn't just your regular oops, had a wardrobe malfunction moment. This was calculated. They weren't even invited to the Grammys, y'all. They literally showed up uninvited, and then Bianca drops that fur coat like she's doing a reveal on a reality show, except what's underneath is basically nothing. And here's the tea. Some people are saying this isn't just Kanye being Kanye or Bianca living her best life. They're saying this is Kanye using Bianca as a human puppet to get back at Kim Kardashian. But here's where it gets complicated. What if Bianca is actually cool with all of this? What if she's not some damsel in distress, but actually living for these moments? Because let's be real, when you marry Kanye West, you kind of know what you're signing up for. It's not like he suddenly became controversial yesterday. The man's been wilding out for years. So while everyone's screaming humiliation ritual, maybe we need to consider that this could just be two people who actually vibe with being messy together. Either way, it's giving us all something to talk about, and isn't that exactly what they wanted? Let's talk about Bianca's transformation because, honey, this isn't just your regular new relationship, new meat glow up. This is a whole identity switch up that's got everyone's group chats buzzing. Y'all, before we dive in, let me show you something that'll make your jaw drop. Pull up any picture of Bianca before she got with Kanye, and I promise you won't even recognize her. We're talking about a successful architect who was out here serving professional realness, rocking long brown hair, wearing actual clothes, imagine that, and basically living her best corporate girl boss life. Like, this woman had credentials, she had style, she had a whole career path that didn't involve being naked at award shows she wasn't invited to. But then Kanye West entered the chat, and suddenly it's like we're watching one of those makeover shows in reverse. First, the hair chopped off and bleached blonde faster than you can say, stop it. And the outfits? Gone were the business casual fits, replaced by whatever Kanye decided was artistic that day. And look, I'm all for experimenting with your style when you get into a new relationship. We've all been there, trying to impress our new boo. But this is giving personality transplant. The wildest part, this isn't even Kanye's first rodeo with the whole transformation thing. Remember what he did with Kim? Literally made her throw out her entire wardrobe when they first got together. Then there was Julia Fox, who turned into a Kim clone faster than you can say Balenciaga. It's like he's got this blueprint for how he wants his women to look, and Bianca just happened to be the next canvas. But here's what's really sending me. Bianca wasn't just some random person looking for fame. This woman was an architect and a jewelry designer. She had her own thing going on. She was out here designing buildings and making art. And now she's designing ways to be naked in public. Don't get me wrong, if that's what she wants to do, then go off, sis. But the speed of this transformation is giving whiplash. It's like she went from LinkedIn professional to Instagram model overnight. And not even the kind that gets to wear cute matching sets from Fashion Nova. We're talking full-on experimental fashion victim. And you know what's really wild? Some people who've seen them together say they actually seem happy. Like, genuinely happy. There are stories of them at fancy hotels being all lovey-dovey over breakfast, with Kanye being super attentive and sweet. So maybe this transformation is exactly what she wanted? Maybe she was just waiting for her chance to let her inner exhibitionist out? I don't know, sis, but what I do know is that this transformation is either the world's most elaborate performance art piece, or we're watching someone speed run through their rebellious phase at warp speed. Let's dive into these control allegations because, child, this tea is scalding. We're not just talking about your regular, my man's a bit possessive situation. These reports about Kanye's rules for Bianca are giving straight-up handbook for hostages. According to insiders, and you know these insiders be talking, Kanye's got more rules for this woman than a boarding school has for teenagers. First off, apparently, she's got a whole list of can'ts. Can't speak in public without his approval, which explains why she's always looking like she's playing the quiet game. Can't wear what she wants unless it's nothing, apparently, and has to follow the strict eating and workout routine that Kanye himself doesn't even follow. Make it make sense. But here's where it gets really interesting. And by interesting, I mean concerning. Sources close to Bianca, probably her worried friends who are watching this whole situation, like are saying she's stuck and that Kanye's put up these wild blockades around her. They're saying this isn't even the same person anymore. Like, remember when Bianca used to be this outspoken, lively architect who probably had opinions about things other than what shade of nude to wear? Now she's out here looking like she's waiting for Kanye's permission to breathe. And get this, apparently, he's convinced her there's some kind of royalty. I mean, I know Kanye calls himself now, but are we really in medieval times? The wildest part? When her friends tried to stage an intervention, because that's how worried they are, she basically told them they were just jealous of her celebrity husband. And look, I get it, if I had a billionaire husband, maybe I'd be defensive too. But there's a difference between defending your man and completely losing yourself in his vision of who you should be. It's giving I can fix him gone wrong, but make it high fashion. And let's talk about that viral video where she couldn't even answer a simple question without looking at Kanye first. Like, girl, you're a whole grown woman with multiple degrees. Since when do you need permission to speak? Some people are saying we're all overreacting, that maybe this is just their dynamic, that maybe she's into this whole controlled lifestyle. And you know what? Maybe they're right. Maybe this is exactly what she signed up for. But when your friends are so worried they're running to the media, and when you've gone from being an independent professional to someone who needs approval to pick out breakfast, something's not adding up. The thing is, we've seen this pattern before with Kanye, but never quite this intense. It's like each relationship gets a little more extreme, a little more controlled, a little more, well, Kanye. And while some might say it's not our business, when you're showing up basically naked to events you weren't invited to, you're kind of making it everyone's business, right? Now, before we all grab our pitchforks and start planning a rescue mission for Bianca, let's switch gears for a minute and look at this situation from a different angle. Because, honey, this tea has more layers than a wedding cake, and there is a perspective that's making everyone stop and think twice. Listen, we've all been sitting here assuming Bianca is some damsel in distress who needs saving from big bad Kanye. But what if, and hear me out on this, what if we're all just being a bunch of judgmental busybodies? I know, it sounds wild given everything we just talked about, but there are some points that are harder to ignore than your ex's 3 a.m. text. In today's everyone's a victim culture, maybe, just maybe, Bianca is exactly where she wants to be. Think about it, we're living in a time where 75% of Gen Z girls are claiming some kind of mental illness, where everyone's looking for someone to blame, and where we're all so quick to play Captain Save-A-Ho that we forget something crucial. Grown folks can make their own choices, even if those choices involve showing up naked to the Grammys. Like, when did we all become everyone else's emotional parole officer? Last time I checked, that job wasn't listed on LinkedIn. Here's the real gag. There are people who've actually seen Kanye and Bianca together when they thought no one was watching, except, that one girl at the fancy hotel breakfast who spilled all the tea. And guess what? They're apparently cute as hell together. We're talking giggly, lovey-dovey. Baby, do you want more grapefruit juice? Type of vibes. Not exactly the hostage situation we've all been imagining, right? And let's be real for a hot second. Bianca's not some teenager who got swept up in this. She's a whole architect who probably designed buildings more stable than most of our relationships. Maybe, just maybe, she's experimenting with a side of herself we don't understand. Does that make it less cringy to watch? Nah. Does that mean we have to like it? Also nah. But does that mean we need to stage an intervention every time someone makes choices we wouldn't make? That's gonna be a no for me. The truth is, we're so quick to assume that any woman doing something anti-feminist must be under some man's control. But isn't true feminism about letting women make their own choices, even if those choices involve being Kanye West barely dressed muse? Maybe instead of trying to save everyone else, we should focus on our own lives. Because, baby, if you're waiting for someone to come save you, you might be waiting longer than Kim K waited for that diamond earring in Bora Bora. So there you have it, family. This whole Kanye and Bianca situation is messier than a toddler with finger paint. And honestly, we might never know the full story. Maybe she's living her best life. Maybe she's crying for help. Or maybe it's somewhere in between. Kind of like when you tell your friends you're fine after a breakup, but you're actually stalking your ex's new girl's cousin's cat's Instagram. What we do know is that this story isn't going anywhere, and neither is the conversation about what's really going down behind those designer sunglasses and mesh dresses. Listen, if you're loving this tea and want to stay updated on all the latest celebrity drama, relationship mess, and real talk, make sure you hit that subscribe button for Tell It All. We're here spilling the tea and keeping it real all the time. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Are you team Free Bianca or team Let Her Be? And don't forget to hit that notification bell because trust me, with these two, there's definitely more drama coming and you don't want to miss it. Until next time, keep it real, keep it messy, and remember, sometimes the best thing you can do is mind your business, but make sure you mind it right here with us. See you in the next video.